Hi, and thanks for tuning in to the Giants Rundown for Thursday, March 3rd from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm Andrew Baggerly. And the Giants, another victory over an NL West team. They beat the Colorado Rockies today at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. The score today is 7-5. The Giants are 5-2 thus far in Cactus League play, and a pretty positive day overall for the Giants, as positive as it could be given that Matt Cain wasn't the guy on the mound. As you probably know, Cain has an inflamed elbow, and he's going to be on the shelf for a while. The Giants hope he's only going to miss one start, but he still hasn't picked up a baseball since he felt his elbow barking at him Monday morning after making his Cactus League debut on Sunday. So probably a good bet that he's going to miss more than one start. They might rejigger the rotation and slot him in a couple days late, or just have him go another turn. Cain says no widespread panic. There's no reason to be alarmed, but easier said than done when we all know how much the Giants are riding on the rotation, how they don't have a lot of rotation depth, and just how important Matt Cain is to this team. He's as vital to them as someone like Adam Wainwright is to the Cardinals. So that's something we'll continue to watch very carefully, and you can better believe I'll give you all the updates on Matt Cain's condition as they become available as camp progresses. It did open an opportunity for Ryan Vogelsong, though, and I wrote about him in the notebook today that's going to be in the newspaper. Vogelsong, if you remember, was part of the trade to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2001 that brought Jason Schmidt, was one of Brian Sabean's most successful trades as a general manager, and Vogelsong really never was able to establish himself, just was inconsistent, had good stuff, but never could find the strike zone from one start to the next, and spent 3 years in Japan, actually, from 2007 to 2009, and then was back in AAA with the Phillies and Angels. Last year was released mid-season by the Phillies, and then went to winter ball in Venezuela. That's where a lot of things came together for him, and he really impressed today. He went 3 innings, faced 10 hitters, just one over the minimum, one walk, had really good stuff. Buster Posey was very impressed with the movement he got on his pitches, and also his curveball. Thought it was very above-average curveball. He's been breaking some bats. He's been looking really good. He's throwing inside to right-handers and left-handers, and Bruce Bochy said he's going to get more innings. He's going to get a chance to win a place on this team. He might be the big surprise in camp early thus far. As we know, the Giants either need a long man, which could be Guillermo Mota, could be Jeff Suppan, could be Dan Runzler if they stretch him out. If they do need rotation insurance, though, and they're hoping they won't, but with Cain already down, Vogelsong is a guy who might figure in that mix. We know few teams get through an entire season using just 5 starting pitchers. So no Madison Bumgarner in the minor leagues for them this year. He's obviously already in the rotation, so if Vogelsong could step up and be an option, I'm sure the Giants would feel pretty good about that. 2 guys who look very good this spring are Buster Posey and Pablo Sandoval. No surprise, I've been writing about Pablo a lot. You've heard a lot about him. Today his box score wasn't too impressive, but I'll tell you what, he absolutely clobbered the ball twice against Jorge De La Rosa. Pretty good lefty that the Rockies threw a lot of money at to bring back into their rotation this year. And Pablo hit a screaming liner right at the third baseman for a double play. And then he hit another just a very hard hit ball to center field. And Willie Taveras made a very nice play to go back and almost made a running, leaping catch at the warning track in center field to flag it down. And those both from the right side from Sandoval. So that's something else we haven't seen. Last year his right-handed swing was abysmal. It was just it was not competitive, and he became a platoon player before he lost his job outright. But when he hit 330 the year before that, he had almost 380 from the right side. So it looks like Pablo's really healthy from both sides of the plate now. And boy, you shudder to think what he could do if he's a guy who could be a force again in this league. All of a sudden, the Giants are looking like a pretty decent offensive team. So Pablo hit the ball hard twice. Buster Posey, though, he outdid everybody. That's a sure way not to get the ball caught, is to hit it 440 feet to dead center. That's what Buster did. It's 410 to straightaway at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. It's 410 to straightaway center, and Buster hit it onto the third tier of the sort of planter area out there, and I got to think it was 450 at least, and maybe a little more than that. And I did talk to Buster very briefly after the game, and he said, "Oh, it's early. I'm just trying to see the ball." Sort of the aw shucks way that he's got about him. But then he kind of winked at me and he said, "But that one did feel pretty good." So, it's just hard to believe that power was not supposed to be one of his calling cards. People wondered how much power he'd hit for, and if I'll tell you what, if the Tampa Bay Rays knew that he could hit with this kind of power when they had the first overall pick, I got to think they would have drafted him first overall. But it all worked out the way it worked out, and Buster is your Rookie of the Year, and he's got a World Series ring soon, and the Giants are obviously very, very happy to have him, and he's seeing the ball pretty good. Another guy who saw the ball good today was Darren Ford. He had a leadoff single, stole second base, later hit a home run. Nice day for him. And Manny Burris had a nice day. He's been a little up and down this spring as he's getting used to being on the field every day again. But he hit a triple after fouling off about 6 or 8 pitches. It might have been 8 or 9. I lost count. But a very long at-bat, a very good at-bat for him. And the Rockies, I don't think they managed to hit until about the 4th or 5th or 6th inning. Wasn't keeping detailed notes on that, but they did end up with a few hits late in the game, including a couple off of Alex Hinshaw as they scored some runs. But Hinshaw, I had a conversation with him a few days ago, and he basically said he's going to try not to walk a single batter this spring. He knows that walks are his undoing, and he did give up a couple soft hits today, but had a good breaking ball, and that definitely is something that he'll need if he hopes to get back into the major league plans at some point. Hard to see him making a run at a roster spot to start the year with lefties Javier Lopez and Jeremy Affeldt in front of him. One funny thing about Posey's home run, several innings after he hit it up into the planters up there, which is the batter's eye, a lady wearing bright red pants sort of scurried out there. I'm sure she wasn't allowed to be out there, and ran and picked up the baseball and ran back right in the middle of play. So I wonder if she was able to elude security as well. But it made for a pretty funny scene, and I wouldn't recommend going out there unless you have proper authorization. So that's pretty much it from today. Brian Wilson, through batting practice, looked very good early on. I'll write about that in the blog, which should be right above this embedded video. And that's about it for today. A long day tomorrow. We've got this day-night doubleheader. Jeff Suppan versus the Brewers in the day game at Scottsdale Stadium. Barry Zito is going to pitch the night game against the Dodgers. And in fact, we asked Bruce Bochy about that because normally the coaching staff doesn't like their pitchers to face opponents that they get the first month of the season, often NL West opponents. And Zito, if he is going to open as the number 4 starter, his first start would come at Dodger Stadium, the last game of that season-opening series. So it was a little curious that Zito would pitch the night game at LA versus the day game at home against Milwaukee. But Bochy said, it's only a couple of innings. Early in camp, it's not a big deal. It's when guys get stretched out to 5+ innings, later in camp that they probably would look to shield them from giving opponents a free look at them. So taking Bochy at his word, that's all that's going on. Doesn't seem like there's anything new to report on the whole Barry Zito situation. If there's anything else that I learn, I'll be sure to pass it along. But other than that, long day tomorrow, so I'm sure it'll be a long update as well. So please check back for that, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, everyone.